One of the quiet secrets about getting older is that you get very clear on what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Things that are not worth it over 70. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Well, today I want to talk about some things that just aren't worth the trouble anymore, especially if you're over 70. I know I have a lot of things that I feel is a waste of my time and my energy, and I just don't want to deal with it anymore. So let's get going because I have quite a few. One of the things is crowded stores and long lines. I don't have the patience for it and I don't have the time for it. If I go to a store and for whatever reason it's very crowded, I just leave. It is not worth it to me to fight crowds and deal with crabby people and, not being able to get to what you're trying to get to. I just leave and come back another day. Along those lines, long lines at the register. Not worth it to me. These stores that have 15 or 20 cash registers and only have two registers open, well, that's just ridiculous that they don't have enough cashiers to check out their customers. And I'm not going to waste my time standing there for 30 minutes just to patronize the store. If I have things in my cart and I know I'm going to have a long wait in line, I just walk out. Sure, I've wasted my time going there and finding the things and putting them in the cart, but I'm not going to waste another 30 minutes of my time waiting to pay for it. I just say forget it and walk out. Another thing are gadgets and organizational items. They're not worth it to me. Now, gadgets, usually I'm thinking about kitchen gadgets, and I'm not a cook. I don't deal with the kitchen. That comes under Dave, but he loves gadgets. And if he sees certain kitchen gadgets advertised, he wants to try them. Well, they rarely ever work out. They're not really time savers. Now, some may be, but not all of them. And then they end up just collecting in the drawer. You use it one or two times because you think, oh, wow, this is great. But then you go back to doing things the way you've always done it, and long forgotten is that gadget. So that's not worth it to me. And as far as organizational things, now I am a girl that loves to organize, but I fell into that trap before where I bought the different organizational bins and containers and you could mark everything and you know what? That wasn't worth it because all I did was take a bunch of junk or stuff I didn't need or extra clutter and I neatly organized it in a container just to be put in the closet, on the top shelf, or in the garage. I wasn't using the stuff. So I was just storing clutter and things that I didn't need, didn't want, so no more of that stuff. I have what I need and I have it neatly organized, and it's not worth it to me to spend the money or take the time to organize junk or clutter. Another one is small errands or going clear across town to get one little thing. That's not worth it to me at this stage in life. It really isn't. I would rather wait until I have several things that I have to pick up and then go out and knock it all out at once. But to go out and fight the traffic and fight the crowds and deal with all that for one little thing, I figure it can wait. Another thing is keeping up with technology. That I do not do. It is not worth it to me. It's not worth the brain power. It's not worth learning it. It's not worth my time at all. I'm not into technology, and I know, like, I'm talking about, like, say, on your phone, they come out with new things that it'll do, and they always have these updates. It's like continually there's a new update. And in that update, it changes a lot of things, it adds things, you can do new things with it. That's not worth it to me. I love having my phone. And it's great and convenient to be able to make a call, send a text, receive a text. That's good enough for me. I don't need all the other fancy and special things that it can do. I don't want to learn them. I'm not interested in them. And it's more trouble than it's worth to this old girl. Another thing that became very apparent to me that it's not worth it is saving every little thing just in case. Have you ever done that? I did that for, oh gosh, a good part of my life. Things that I wasn't using anymore, I had no interest in, I felt I didn't need it, but I couldn't part with it because I might need it someday, so I better save it just in case. Well, before you know it, you have all this stuff in different places in your house for that I may need it situation. And you don't remember where you put it anyhow. It took up extra room and space that you didn't have, and it just isn't worth it. So, if there's something I need and I know I used to have it and I got rid of it, I'll just go out and get it again or borrow it from a neighbor. It's not worth keeping it anymore. Now, this one is really not worth it to me because it creates such intense frustration for me. And that is trying to read the teeny tiny, very light print on, bottles and containers and things that you purchase. That writing is for ants. I mean, it is so tiny. And then they use light colored ink, like they write it in white or silver or something. You could stand there forever trying to figure out each word, even with a 10 times magnifying glass. I'm not doing that anymore. If somebody's around, I'll ask them to please read it for me to tell me what I need to know. If nobody's around, I'm just not buying it because it's not worth my time to have to figure that out. Another one are those doggone long phone menus and then the being on hold forever. It's just sad in today's world when you call customer service for anything. You could be calling a department store, your bank. It doesn't matter where you're calling. You are on hold for what seems like forever. And there's no excuse for that. And then they start off with options on their phone menu. Well, there you go. There's 15 to 20 options. If you want this, press 1. If you want that, press 2. And it goes on and on for about 15 different options. I don't have the time for that or the patience, and it's not worth my energy. It's not worth it at all to me. So I don't pick any options anymore. I will just constantly hit 0 or yell into the phone, customer service, and then I will get someone. But I'm not going to listen to all those prompts. And then when you find the one you want, then you're on hold for 30 minutes. Well, no, thank you. I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. Now, here's one that's not worth it to me at all. And I don't know if it's worth it to anyone. I guess you have to decide for yourself, as we're all different. But that's watching or listening to things that you don't need to hear or you don't need to know. My goodness, That can affect you in so many ways. Number one, it eats up your time. Number two, it can create a lot of anxiety. Number three, you can come away from it feeling sad or afraid. People that watch the news, and if you do, that's okay, you do you. I would never, and I don't, and I never have watched the news because it's so bad from what I hear, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the same with watching a TV show or something. How does that add to your life? Now, I realize some people have special shows that they really enjoy, and that's okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm talking about me in this situation. There are none for me. They're not going to enhance my life in any way. I do watch the Hallmark movies. That's all I watch. That's all I have access to. And I do that when I go to bed because it helps me to unwind, clear my mind. And, I watch the Christmas movies. I'll watch them over and over because, they're loving, they're kind, they're about joy and love, and that feeds my soul. But anything else, it doesn't do anything for me, and I would not waste my time on it. It's not worth it. Time is way too precious to me at this age. Another one that just isn't worth it to me is buying or wearing clothing that is not comfortable. I'm at a place in life where I want comfort. It's not about how do I look, although I try to look nice, but it's not about all those little details or things that some people are concerned with. I'm not concerned about them. I'll give you an example. A bra. I've talked about bras before. They say have a good bra with good support and, the right straps, and it should fit you in a way to where your breasts come kind of right here, kind of like between your shoulder and your elbow, so that they're up where they should be. I don't care if they're up where they should be. I care about comfort. So I wear the bralettes. There's no hooks or anything. You just pull them on over your head, or I step into them and pull them up. They don't offer a lot of support, they just offer covering. Are your breasts going to be lower than maybe they should be, or they would look better if they were higher? Well, probably. I don't care about that. I care about comfort. I'm not going to wear clothes with a lot of buttons and zippers and all that stuff. It's not worth it to me. I want to look nice, but I want to be comfortable, and comfort is more important to me now than anything else. I'll give you two more and then I'll wrap this up because let me tell you, I could go on and on. There are so many things that I used to think were important, and now they don't mean anything to me. And not just that, they're just not worth it to me. But the next thing is keeping so much stuff. Yeah, I've done a lot of purging and decluttering, and that's an ongoing process. I am constantly going back through things to just get rid of a little bit more and a little bit more. Having all that stuff just clutters up my mind, and it just makes me feel uncomfortable. And even if it's neatly packed away, it's not sitting out in your house, but your garage is full of it, or your closets, or whatever. It still sticks with you. And the main thing is, there's no point of it. If you're not using it or you don't care for it, if it's tucked away, even if it's neatly tucked away in the basement, the garage, on a shelf, you don't need it. I mean, that's the way I feel. You may feel differently, and that's okay. So, having too much stuff is not worth it to me because, God forbid, if something happened to any of us where someone had to come in and go through things, if we fell or got hurt and had to go into rehab for a lengthy time or a nursing home or move or whatever, somebody else has to deal with all that stuff. And that's just not right to me. It's not worth it. And the last one I'll share with you, it's not worth it to worry about things that you cannot control. The truth is, we can't control anything. We think we can, but we're just fooling ourselves because we can't. How many nights have you stayed up worrying about anything? Your kids, your job, your finances, your home, a friendship that is on the rocks. It doesn't matter what it is. And you worry and you go through this whole process in your mind. Number one, it never turns out to be like you think it's going to be in your mind while you're creating all this worry. And number two, whether you worried or not, it didn't change the outcome, didn't change a doggone thing. That is such a waste of time. And I'm telling you, I'm the queen. I wasted so much time, most of my life, worrying about things that I had no control over. And I finally have gotten to the place, took me almost 75 years, but I'm finally to the place where I realize it's not worth it. It's not worth that 10 minutes or 10 hours I spent worrying about something when I could have spent that happy, smiling, looking around at all the things I am so grateful for, talking to my children or my grandchildren, so many other things. So, no more wasting time on things you can't control. Trust me, it is not worth it. And I know that it's very difficult to not worry, especially for women. A lot of women just worry about everything. And I get that because I was definitely one of them. But when you can get to a place where you stop and really think about it and examine it, and you can say, what good did that do me? How much of that worrying robbed me of precious time in my life? Do I want to continue my last 5, 10, or 20 years of life wasting time doing that when I know for a fact it doesn't change anything? Then you'll be able to tamp down that worrying and it won't consume you anymore. Now, what's one thing that you've decided that just is not worth it anymore? Is it something I talked about or something you could share to help the rest of us to let things go? Because when you let things go and realize it's not worth it, it's not worth your time or energy, you're not giving up. You are just giving yourself the best life that you possibly can. You are simplifying your life. You're choosing peace and comfort and calm over chaos. So please share that in your comments. All right, let's move on to an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip comes from Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. I read that because I have learned that the Bible had this answer long before I did. As I talked about, the amount of time I have wasted away worrying just really hurts my heart now when I think about it. I know it's just human nature. I mean, we all do it. I'm assuming most of us do it. And it doesn't do anything for us. You know, every answer to everything is in the Word of God. I firmly believe that. I'm not saying everybody believes it or that you have to believe it, but I have to believe it in order to live my life the best way that I can. If I had paid attention to this scripture years ago, even just 10 years ago, I would have saved precious time that I have wasted. And that's sad to me when I think about all the time that I have prayed for something because I was worried. And I felt like if I prayed hard enough to God, things would turn out the way I needed them to. I really believed that. And now I just sit back and think, my goodness, we have such a gracious God who puts up with us. I can't imagine the love and forgiveness he has for each and every one of us. I could have just surrendered that worry to God, put it in his hands, and then prayed about other things, prayed for other people, prayed for the world, prayed for my neighbors, pray for those who are hurting and suffering and don't have anything. I'm just so thankful that I have the wisdom now to see this. Our God is always there to answer our prayers, and we have to trust in Him that no matter what we're worrying about, it's in His hands, and we're not going to change it one way or the other. Only He can change things. Only He can can know the outcome. And whether the outcome is what we wanted it to be or what we didn't want it to be, it was in His will, which is always perfect. And I'm grateful to know that. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.